Hello, Professor. This is Group 18. Our team member have Feng Huiyu, Li Shunnan, Ma Zeshu, Pan Xinyu, Yang Qi, and our topic is the culture of Malaysia. The problem in the world I explore in this paper is culture of Malaysia. The reason why it is an important problem is there are numerous people in this country, and they have different religious beliefs, language, and race. Malaysia is made up of many people who come from different countries. The main ones are the Malays. The reason why there are many races in this country is that long ago the world was not so peaceful and many people sought a place or to live relative to peace in order to avoid disasters. At the same time, these people from different countries bring a lot of different cultures to Malaysia. Moreover, the country is an ethnically mixed country. Malaysia is a multi-ethnic country with diverse cultures. According to the ethnic religions and the language of Malaysia, there are three ethnic groups in Malaysia, namely the Chinese Malay, India, and the native Malay. People of different ethnic groups live in a variety of religions. Chinese beliefs are divided into Buddhism, Taoism, Catholicism, and Protestantism. Indians believe in freedom, Hinduism, Catholicism, or Christianity. The many people believe in Islam. The language of Malaysia is also colorful. Mandarin, English, Chinese, Hokkien, Cantonese, and various indigenous dialects.
We mainly focus on the culture of Malaysia and adopt quantitative analysis most. Quantitative research has a high degree of standardization and precision. Local influence is rigorous and more objective, which is conducive to promoting the abstraction and generalization of theories and making accurate analysis of diversified cultural phenomena in Malaysia. Its imitation is that it requires accurate measurement of a small number of characteristics of a large number of samples, so it is difficult to obtain in this and extensive information and easy to ignore the specific process of change. In addition, many social phenomena are special and cannot be generalized by general express, so quantitative analysis cannot be relied on. Our approach is interpret them. The culture of Malaysia focus on three parts, including religion, language, and race. Because Malaysia is a multi-ethnic country, Malaysia, Chinese, and Indians are the main ethnic groups in Malaysia. Historically, Malaysians, Chinese, and Indians are all foreign peoples of the Malay Peninsula. The mass migration of Malaysians to the Malay Peninsula began after the 13th century. The mass migration of Chinese to Peninsular Malaysia began the late 19th century. India began to immigrate to the Malay Peninsula around the beginning of the 20th century. Because the diversity of ethnic groups has created the diversity of Malaysian culture, therefore, we chose lateral research method for research according to the history and the present situation of Malaysia. It is helpful for us to have a comprehensive understanding of ongoing of Malaysian country.
Multi-ethnic, multicultural, and multi-language society. Many races maintain their unique cultural identities. And these cultures influence each other to shape a culture that truly belongs to Malaysia. There are approximately 140,000 indigenous people in Palestine, Malaysia, including several different ethnic communities. The multiracial languages of Malaysia include Malay, English, Chinese, and Hindi, among which Malay is official language or administrative language. For Malaysia's Chinese, there are Southern Fujian, Northern Fujian, Cantonese, Hakka, Teochew, and Hainanese. Tamil is the lingua franca of Indians in Malaysia, and some Indians also use Telugu, Malayalam, or Punjabi language. Malaysia is a secular Muslim country, ensuring the freedom of belief of other peoples. Other accepted religions are Buddhism, Taoism, Hinduism, Catholicism, Hinduism, and Christianity. A few years ago, in the two states of Sabah and Sarawak, the two morally forbidden Chinese chains from using the word Allah is now raging on the Malay Peninsula and has a tendency to spread across the country. This is due to the fact that my country's Catholic weekly newspaper received a letter from the Ministry of the Interior in December 2007, instructing the newspaper to cancel the Malay version in exchange for obtaining a new publish permit. The Ministry of the Interior reasoned that the Malay version of the weekly newspaper used the word Allah. The Roman Catholic operation shop of Kuala Lumpur filed a petition with the Kuala Lumpur High Court for a ruling to allow the newspaper to use the word Allah. This means that the use of the word Allah on the Malay Peninsula has entered a stage of judicial disputes. So what can we learn from non-Muslims using the word Allah? The government maintains that Allah is an Islamic term, and if used by non-Muslims, it will mislead Muslims to change their beliefs. But the Christians in Malaysia who are striving to use Allah argue that this term predates Islam and is used by non-Muslims who speak Arabic to refer to the Malay word for Allah, has been used for hundreds of years. But now Islam believers would like us to use the word Tuhan, which means God in Malay. Therefore, the word God is used instead of God. How to do? We have to call God God. We can no longer use the word God. We should use God. The second legislative session of the 13th quarter of the second quarter of Canada passed 5 bills, includes the 1988 Control and Restriction of Non-Islamic Extinction Act, which prohibits non-Muslims from using 55 Islam-related words according to the Article 9 of the Act. Non-Muslims are prohibited from using 40 words in non-Islam affairs. In addition, when non-Muslims mention non-Islamic issues in their speeches, there are 15 words that cannot be used. In addition, the other 4 bills passed also include Appropriation Act 2015, Royal Appropriation Act, Islamic Administration Act, Islamic Family Act. From the above, we can conclude that the prerequisite of religious tolerance is mutual respect and trust. Religious tolerance is one of the strengths of anyone to rejuvenate the country. Any society needs to respect each other's religious beliefs. In a multicultural society, to reduce religious conflicts, religious education cannot be ignored.
According to the survey, the various religions and ethnic groups that follow them make up Malaysia's diverse culture. Islam. From the 7 to 17 countries, Islam expanded and spread throughout East Asia for 1,000 years. Malaysia's constitution stipulates that all Malays are Muslims, and Muslims make up nearly 55% of the population. Islam has a deep influence in Malaysia. The Malays take Arabic names and live according to teaching of Islam. Mosques are found all over Malaysia in both urban and rural areas, and prayers are offered daily. Friday is a day of prayers in Malaysia. Other religions. Buddhism was one prevalent on the Malay Peninsula, but gradually declined after 50 centuries. In the 19th century, the arrival of a large number of Chinese-made Buddhism, especially Mahayana Buddhism, recovered and developed. Kuala Lumpur, and Penang, where the Chinese are connected, are the Buddhist centers of Malaysia. The Buddhist Association of Malaysia, based in Penang, also runs the Malaysia Buddhist Institute, the Hindu. When Hinduism entered the Malaysia Peninsula, it was called Buddhism. It was called Brahmanism. The majority of Hindus converted to Islam in the 15th century. After the spread of Islam in the Malaysia Peninsula, Hinduism is now practiced only by Hindus who have a strict caste system. Christianity came to Malaysia with the Portuguese, Dutch, and British invasions. Since the constitution in these countries belong to different sects, the Christianities they both with them also have different branches, meaning Catholics and Protestant. Christians in Malaysia are mostly Filipino immigrants, Indios, Manuals, and some Chinese. Primitive relation. The original relation of the Malays whisper various goals and primitive phrases. Today, the Malay religions group in Malaysia are some indigenous minorities.
There are three major ethnic groups, namely Malaya, Chinese, Indian, and some indigenous people. Almost all the Malaya in West Malaysia believe in Islam, and a small number of Aboriginals are Christian, Catholics, and Muslim, and a small number of Malaysia believe in Christian Catholicism in East Malaysia, and a larger number of local Aboriginals and Christian Catholics. Very few Indians are Henna. Most are Hindu. The Chinese are many Bandhis, and the first Christian sect, and very few are Halal. Turks know that Malay is the backbone of the Malaysia culture, national culture time. Another democratic culture where nation has its own festival, religion, such as the New Year and a festival is Malay. The spring festival is the Chinese New Year. Deepavali is the Indian New Year, and so on. We will find that Malaysia is filled with joy, blessing all year round with rich culture festival. The national culture is the main reason for the cultural diversity of Malaysia.